Hello, Patrick Lilly here with America's Top Agents, where we share real estate success stories. This month, we're interviewing Jennifer Egbert from Boulder, Colorado. We are here with my dear friend, Jennifer Egbert. Jennifer, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, we're in Boulder, Colorado, and Boulder is a really beautiful town with lots of expensive homes. It's where the University of Colorado is, which is not a cheap school.
No.
But it's really a comfortable place to live, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
How'd you get to Boulder?
College. So I came out in...
You went to college?
Kind of, for a little while. I tried. Yeah, but came out for college in 91.
To University of Colorado?
I didn't. I actually started out in Denver at a school called Regis. Mm-hmm. And then my best friend was up here, and she said, you have to move here. And so I transferred up my junior year or something like that.
How'd you get into real estate?
I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Whoever says I'm going to go into real estate? Very few people. Seriously,
it was one of those things. I was probably I had that little, existential crisis that you have when you're 25. Mm-hmm. What am I doing? I'm going to work every day. It's boring. This can't be it kind of thing. And I had a girlfriend she's still an agent here in town named Laura Morningstar. And she was working for Joel Rittmaster as his executive assistant. And I was like, wow, she can afford a car and she can afford an apartment, those kind of things. And I was like, that's something. Because I was working retail and I loved it, but how are you supposed to make a living working retail, right? And so I just talked to her about it, and I was like, do you think this is something I'd be good at? And she was like, I don't know, that kind of thing. And like we all do when somebody asks if we should get into it. But she was kind of like the catalyst for me getting my license.
And you've been doing this how long now?
Since 2002.
Good while.
Yeah.
And to let you know, Jennifer is one of the top agents in Colorado and obviously in Boulder. Her average sales price is over $3 million per sale, which is pretty impressive. One, you don't have to sell as many properties that way to make a good income.
Yeah.
And what do you think the average sales price is in Boulder across the board?
If I remember, in the city of Boulder, it's around 1.3, and I think in the county, it's high nines, around $1 million.
So Jennifer has done an incredible job of branding herself in the high-end market. We're going to get into that because that's one of your strengths. First, this is a bit of a segue, but let's talk. Do you remember how we met? I don't think either of us really remember.
We tried to figure it out. So I remember
we spent a good 15 minutes at dinner last night. Yeah, we got nowhere.
Nowhere. And so I can't remember if we met in Charleston briefly.
I threw a Rev conference.
Yeah, I was teaching at it.
And I got you to speak.
Yep.
Somebody told me, maybe Dawn told me that you had to speak.
Yeah, and I did Ideal Customer Avatar.
Maria.
And Maria. Maria's the one who invited me. Because at first, when you first did it, it was really, really small.
Yeah.
And then...
Our first conference was 125 people in New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Maria was there.
Yeah, I think she was.
Yeah. Maria Babayev.
So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
So we met, Jennifer and I must have met somewhere in that time frame. Either I threw a conference and I did a couple of masterminds that you came to.
Yes, and you did something at the Four Seasons in Denver one year.
Yeah, we did that too. Who knows?
I know.
We met at one of these things. What's interesting is Maria, who also would come to my events.
Yeah.
Maria's with Douglas Elliman on Long Island. I think she's their top broker on Long Island.
Yeah.
And what I love, first of all, tell how you met Maria. But we were just in an episode with Orly and Paula Clark, who are besties, and what the value that comes from having a real estate bestie is for your career and your sanity.
100%.
So, first of all, how did you meet Maria?
So I didn't meet Maria through real estate. I actually met her in 2007 in Manhattan at a landmark education seminar.
Right.
And we kind of connected. She was really cool. I mean, she's drop dead gorgeous and really intelligent, you know, and Her stories are always great.
And charismatic.
So charismatic. And we connected there, but you weren't exchanging phone numbers and stuff like that. You're in like a transformation seminar. And so then a couple years later, I was in
I always call
Denver.
Landmark, let me own my bullshit seminar.
Totally. Like let me find out, the worst parts about myself and make myself better. But then I was at a thing in Denver for like Leaders in Luxury or something, and I was getting coffee, and I looked
By the way,
over.
I was at that too. I don't think we knew each other then.
No. And so she was there, and it was at the Brown Palace, I think.
Yeah.
And so, and that was like 2009, 8 or 9. And I looked over, and she's getting coffee, and I go, and it's just kind of like, maybe I met this person. You seem so familiar, and I remember faces really well. And so I just asked her, are you Maria? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, oh my God. She's like so emphatic.
So you've developed a long-term, strong friendship.
Dear friend.
Talk to our audience about how having a real estate bestie is so ideal in terms of being able to talk to somebody, being able to get new ideas, to run ideas by them, and for them to be able to support you in your personal life too.
Because your audience are realtors, right?
Yeah.
So, this is something I think that we probably always say to one another. We're like, oh my God, I need a real estate therapist who actually understands what we're going through, right? And I feel like with Maria, a few things, and I would say this about you, and I would say this about people in my mastermind groups, like, I can call her and bounce ideas off of her. She is somebody who, like, when we're out to dinner and stuff like that, we're always joking. We're like, thank God we didn't meet in our 20s. We'd be dead people. It's like I think when you find somebody who, in this industry, who you really connect with, it is like having somebody outside of your partner or your husband or your wife that understands what you're going through, and they don't take it personally because they can empathize.
And they'll have insight that your spouse will not have.
Hardcore. And then the other thing is that they send you referrals.
Yes.
And you can do 6 figures a year in referral business from your friends in this industry.
It's interesting because Maria, you, me, just about everybody we've interviewed on this series, the common theme has been growth, both individual growth and growth as a real estate broker or agent. And why don't we talk, because I know one of the things that you have done really well is I know you've done to a lot of conferences, but you've really done a lot of masterminds, which is a way to get really high-end people together and learn from them and then have the support system from them.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that.
I'm a people person, for sure. I like people a lot. And I found when we were getting, and that's why I always loved the size of Rev, not too big kind of thing. I found when we were getting into conferences that were too big, you just couldn't meet people.
Right.
And what I love about masterminds is you've picked through the litter and found people that are actually in production, actually, transacting. They've been in the business for a long time, that kind of thing. And so you're not wasting your time spending time with people, which sounds probably really terrible.
No, you need to be strategic in life, or I think you need to be strategic in life, and that's just a smart move. And then you develop real relationships with them.
100%.
It's sort
like
of,
I've met their families.
Yeah,
and
even gone on vacations with them sometimes.
Totally. We go on vacations. Like, I care about them deeply. I know about their lives. That kind of thing.
And it's another family, I feel. It's like another way to view family.
And I would say this.
And a family that you pick.
We're so, totally. Because we're so enmeshed in our clients' lives, but we're not really, we're more caretakers in that space. Whereas having agents that are around the world, because I have agent friends around the world at this point, I always say you should have a real estate agent as a friend, because when you go visit them in that city, you get the best tour of the city. You know what I mean? And then, but also, again, there's that, you don't have to mask all the time.
It's true. You can be yourself a lot easier.
Yeah.
I love going on vacation with my real estate friends
so fun.
because I can be on the phone the whole time and
they
don't get mad at me.
Yeah, they don't give you shit. Like, it's a whole thing.
They don't get
Oh,
mad
do
at
we
me.
swear on here?
Yeah, we do. We swear on this series a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so you're an ENFP in the MBTI. That's stands for extroverted, intuitive, feeler, perceiver.
Okay.
ENFPs, like Rob and I have a lot of ENFP friends, and they tend to be our favorite friends because they're the most fun. They are the most fun people, and at the same time, they'll be really easygoing. ENFPs are really easygoing until they're not.
I always say I'm nice until I'm not.
And then when they're not, you're dead.
Yeah.
They're like,
We're awful.
It's fortunate. I've seen some of my ENFP friends get there. Fortunately, it hasn't been with me, but yeah.
It's bad. It's like a switch flips. And I've said that. Like, I think it's almost to remind myself that I'm nice until I'm not, you know? And it's good for my clients because it I'm there protecting them is kind of how I look at it.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So along that line, what would you say is your superpower as a real estate agent?
So we talked about this too, and it is definitely connecting. And so I remember reading The Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell, and when they got
By
to
the way, he has a place up in Hudson, New York, so we would see him at the Mark.
I would be like, he changed, my perception of myself.
We didn't want to go up and say anything to him, but he's. It was just seeing the really afro that he has, sitting at his computer drinking a cup of cappuccino
That's
or whatever.
so cool.
Yeah, it was
That's cool about upstate because I feel like you're getting all the fleers from the city.
Yeah.
Well, so that a connection for sure. And then, have you guys heard of my friend Sally Hogshead, who did How to Fascinate test? You need to take that.
Okay.
Okay. So I met Sally when I got stuck in Hurricane Sandy, and was that 12?
That was, I don't know what year it was, but I was in Tibet when that happened.
Okay, so I think it was like 2012, and I was there for a Marie Forleo marketing thing, and Sally has this test called How to Fascinate. And so, yes, connecting, I'm so great at, but then the other thing that she does is that this test shows you how people perceive you.
Oh, interesting.
Rather than how you perceive yourself.
Interesting.
And so my results were, I am a trendsetter with a high level of rebellion, a high level of prestige, and a low level of alarm. So
I can see that.
Again, I don't freak out until...
I can see, until you do.
Yeah, until I do, kind of thing. And so those were really, those I think are the real things that I'm good at is going... Yeah, go ahead.
And then I would say your ability to connect is how you actually generate a lot of I'd say it's one of your best lead generation activities.
Totally. And I think in this business, we're such good listeners after a while that, like I was telling you earlier, I could be talking to somebody and they would be about some benign subject, but it might initiate a memory that a conversation you and I have had, and then I'll know that I need to actually connect you guys because there's something there.
And then you're good about doing that. You've done that with me several times.
Yeah.
What do you think is in business is one of your worst attributes?
I mean, I think it's all the little details, right? That's why I'm a really good delegator, but if I am on my own, it's a shit show. It's a mess on the back end.
Especially administrative, paperwork, that sort of thing.
It's the worst. I want to be with people.
By the way, they're coming up with, which could be good for you, they're coming up with AI related to CRMs that all of your conversations are recorded and then the AI automatically fills it into whatever.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it fills it into your CRM or whatever you need certain forms filled out.
Sweet.
It can do it automatically. That could be great for you. I think that would be great for everybody. And I wouldn't pick, if you were going to change CRMs, I wouldn't pick a CRM until you found one that had that worked.
I agree.
That worked.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so since we're on that road, let's talk about how you generate leads.
It's
for instance, we went to the coffee tea shop this morning because Rob needed a boost.
Yeah.
And I needed a chai.
Yeah.
And you've guessed about $50 million in business.
Out of that tea shop.
Yeah.
Just from people that I've met. So probably before the pandemic and before this office was here, I would just go there and work. And I met all sorts of really interesting people. That's the cool thing about Boulder is we're in the middle of the country and where a lot of people come for a lifestyle change. So from Silicon Valley, from New York, from Miami, from Chicago, like from Houston, like we have this huge kind of influx here, right? So it's a lot of people who've done really interesting things in the world and they're super casual about it. Like nobody is out here like boasting their wealth kind of thing. So you're sitting there talking to like the founder of blah, 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 you know, and you become friends. And like Rob got to meet Franz and Twaddle today, you know, and it was like, these guys are so interesting. And he was a huge financial advisor for years, you know, in Austria and all this stuff, right? So it's really cool how this town works. And I think just from being here for as long as I have, you know, you get to the point where you're like, see the same person every day in the coffee shop or the tea shop and you go, okay, I should know your name since I see you every day and say hello. That's kind of how a lot of our conversations start.
So a lot of this is very much your local type community,
Totally.
and then you're totally supporting it and making yourself very visible for other people who might want to do something similar in their marketplace. All right, so you're a great connector, so being able to just be out in public is a great source of you generating business. How else do you generate leads?
Social media marketing is a big one.
Okay, let's start with social media. I know, so you're over a lot of different apps, platforms. Tell me what you're doing on each.
Well, like Instagram is super strategic and regimented. So I have a social media team that actually I contract with. And so they know my voice, they know how I want things to look, and we focus on being hyper-local. So I don't travel, like I don't work in Denver, I work in Boulder County specifically, and I think that is another part to that. Then we feed out to, I would say that's kind of the catalyst because Instagram has proven itself to be a really good lead generator.
How many followers do you have on Instagram?
Not many, like 7,500.
Okay.
But they are a solid 7,500, like they actually interact.
And are the majority of the posts about real estate listings, or are they about just Boulder in general?
Boulder in general.
Okay.
And same with the stories. I find now as Instagram's evolved, people are more looking at stories and reels than they are looking at your page or whatever. But it is a good, like there are measurable results from asking people how they found me, and they found me on Instagram. Now, I started doing TikTok during the pandemic, and there I have like 17, almost 18,000 followers. And I have had people in the coffee shop stop me and be like, wait, are you Jennifer? And I'm like, oh my God, it's so weird. But again, it's a small town, so I get that. So that's kind of fun.
And what do you post differently on TikTok than on Instagram?
It's so chaotic. Like, it's just like, whatever I'm interested in talking about. So there's definitely, like if you look at like Glenda Baker.
So it's you, it's not
me.
It's you, whereas Instagram your
Real
team
estate.
is doing it. Right?
Yeah. And then Facebook, I don't love Facebook, but if you look at our traffic, a lot of it still comes from Facebook, so people actually use it. And then LinkedIn, same, so.
And are you doing YouTube too?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, all our videos.
What's the common thread there?
In terms of like what we're posting?
Your social media, yeah.
I mean, it's about Boulder and what's amazing about this town or what's so wonderful about being here.
Do you see much transfer between that, getting them to your website?
Well, yeah, so we find that actually drives traffic to our website.
Okay.
So if we're looking at like the numbers every month, and then the girls will show me, you know, okay, but Facebook's a huge driver still, even though it's old. People use it.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
If they're not quote talking about today's politics, I've defriended so many people I just can't take it anymore.
Same. And then they ask me why.
Because
Listen,
read your
bitch.
post.
Yeah. Exactly.
Read your post.
You sound fucking crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Besides social media, talk to me about your marketing.
So I stopped doing print ad at some point in my career.
It just wasn't productive.
It wasn't productive until this magazine came into town called Boulder Lifestyle Magazine. And it is editorial and beautiful. It very much is like, it's kind of like what I do marketing wise, but in a magazine. And they were doing like, they're great at PR. They're this great couple. They're young and they just have a cool vision and they do beautiful photography and all this kind of stuff. So they came to me earlier and I think I was one of their first advertisers. And that was 14 years ago, probably, and 12, 14 years ago. And they're the one print ad thing that I do because it's hyper local. And I literally just got a call for a listing the other day and showed this guy a house in that. So that rarely happens out in the world if you're doing, for me anyway, like the big print ad kind of stuff. But it is such a that hyper local vibe, and Boulder is very much like that. It worked really well.
I'm finding that there's a couple of times that it works when I'm talking to all these top agents.
Yeah.
You're giving an example of hyper-local that
great.
seems to be working well if it's done well.
Yes.
And then I'm also seeing like people like Paul Grover gets a lot of bang out of the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah. I mean, we do PR stuff through them. I forgot. I haven't seen Paul in 100 years.
Oh, he's one of my best friends.
Oh, my God.
I'm selling a barn of his right
Paul.
now.
Yeah. Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
Because he's in D.C., right?
No, in Cape Cod.
In Cape Cod, okay.
Cape Cod.
All right.
And Boston. So
That's right.
So for some people, like he's doing big, $10 million estates on Cape Cod, which is perfect for Wall Street Journal because they're not always going to be living in Cape Cod.
Yeah.
Whereas Boulder is that's a destination place.
Except for we have folks that are from out there, that are thinking about it. So we definitely will PR to Wall Street Journal, LA Times as well.
Oh, yeah?
So our biggest market feeders are Los Angeles County, Silicon Valley, Chicago, Cook County, Illinois, New York. We're seeing some Massachusetts, and now we're seeing a huge influx from Texas again. So we always have visitors from Texas to ski, but we're seeing people like from Houston and stuff
actually
migrating up
moving
here
here.
as well, yeah.
Interesting. All right. The other thing that I've noticed is for instance, your newsletter that comes out, your entire marketing is very slick, very high end, and very modern. Even if you get an
Like
older
a
historical listing, the advertising still seems hyper modern
Well, it's clean.
because it's your brand.
Yeah, it's clean. For me, it's just my aesthetic. I look at some stuff, and I have friends who are much more traditional in their marketing. It's just not for me. And so another, a thing that I always talk about is really understanding your ideal customer avatar. And so my people also just want to see through the muck.
Who's your ideal customer avatar?
I mean, it has changed over time, but I would say the person I have in mind, she actually is one of my best friends. They are decision makers. They have a good aesthetic. They like good style. They have lifestyle things that they do. They're wealthy. So they can afford. They can afford to be practical, which they are, kind of thing. They don't, overspend, those kind of things. They're not showy. They live here, but they definitely have second homes elsewhere. They travel a ton. So I have a whole booklet that I do. And then, and then I've also realized
That's also by creating that avatar.
it's huge.
You're somehow by setting your intentions in those directions, you start to attract
They
that
just show up.
client. And I don't really know how that works, but I do know that it does work.
I mean,
you can call it the law of attraction, you can call it whatever manifestation, you can call it whatever you want, but it works.
I think it really is. I think it's because we all have people that we are like, or they like us and they would just be think about when you're meeting people in a room. It's the same thing. Somebody will fly over and they're like, I want to talk to you. I have no idea why, but it's who I am, or I'll do that with people. You know what I mean? So I think it really is putting out the same thing.
Well, it's how you attracted your husband.
Yeah,
Oh my God, was that the longest story
Shut
last
up.
night? We're not going into it. Oh my
Don't go into
God,
it.
it was chapter after chapter.
It's long and dramatic.
So let's getting back on track.
Okay.
Any other means of lead gen?
Yep. So we definitely do boosted ads to those areas that are feeder markets. I think that's really something important.
Google ads or what type ads?
No, Instagram.
Okay.
We'll push Instagram, and since it's all meta now, like it will push Facebook as well. Because again, those are huge generators for us. But I would say the best lead generator that I have is calling my friends and hanging out with them.
Calling your circle of influence, isn't that always the case?
Yep.
So you're obviously great with warm calls. How are you with doing a cold call?
I'm fine. I'm comfortable with it. But at this point in my career, like no. Like I'll get cold calls too now because people know who I am or whatever. And I really have to vet whether or not we're a good fit.
Right. Let's talk about your team.
Yeah.
Tell me.
So I'm the salesperson.
You're 100% the entire sales department.
I'm the 100% the only salesperson on my team. I have an amazing executive assistant, Camila Hall, and she
1099?
That's a whole story too. Yes, she's 1099. And that has worked out really great too. I think COVID really changed how we look at work, which for me, I'm Gen X, I think is awesome. It's made me like loosen the reins a little bit, So she's like, it's dumping snow, I don't want to come in. Fine. Like things like that other people might be like, oh no, I can't deal. It's been great. Because I think it's also making people happier in work.
Yes.
And that's really important, especially in this job.
Yes.
To remain joyful. Were we talking about joy last night too?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll get there.
That was to the end of the night.
Yeah. That was after a couple of margaritas.
Oh my God, those margs. And then I have Saba Fasahuddin, and she is my transaction coordinator. She is actually an employee of the brokerage, and she was assigned to me when I came on. And if she ever leaves me, I'll cry because she's the most wonderful human ever. And then we have a listing support team. So what's cool about this brokerage is the back end of it is very much about making sure that the agent can just do real estate. It's really
Which is
cool.
what you do best.
Yeah.
Because we know what you don't do best.
We don't do paperwork best.
Don't do paperwork at all.
It's so bad.
Delegating is key, and I feel like you're really comfortable with that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I think the biggest thing is me making sure I'm not abusing the roles of the other people.
So we were just talking about joy. What are the things in your profession that you enjoy the most?
I love the negotiating.
Yeah.
I freaking love it. Like, I'm really good at it. And I love to, practice it all of the time. And I think that, I don't know, it's kind of like the little gold star. If I need a gold star, it's winning at a negotiation.
Winning's fun. And what do you least like about what you do?
When clients are awful. You know what I mean? When they...
Oh, honey, I've learned to fire them.
I know. Oh, I do. Don't get me wrong. They're out. Like, they don't ever get me after that. And I have had people try and come back. I had one just the other day call, and I'm just like, no.
Well, that's your ENFP. You're chill until you're not.
Yeah.
I do a slightly different thing.
Yeah.
So when they're being horrible, I pull an ENFJ with them. And I go, listen, I don't think you're happy with me. And the last thing I want is for you to be unhappy. So I'll be letting you out of our agreement in 2 days' time.
Yep.
And just let me know if you want me to connect you with somebody else. And 9 times out of 10, they go, we don't want you to leave us.
What are you talking about?
And I say, well, then let's go over some boundaries that we need to set, or let's go over how I would like to be talked to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've said to people on the phone who are screeching, I'm like, I'm going to hang up now, and then call me back when you can talk to me like a normal person.
Yeah.
And that stops them in their tracks.
Yeah.
You know, people lose, there's this culture of like we're the bottom feeders or whatever it is until they need everything from us. So, I just got a little fiery about that.
Is luxury different from selling regular homes?
Yeah.
How so?
The client, first of all, and regular homes.
What's a regular? I know.
Like, what's
a
a
regular home?
I would say
It's a non-luxury home.
Yeah, that's a really subjective question. I would
So
say
I could rephrase it.
I would rephrase it because it's too
in the
broad.
mathematical thing. How is selling homes in the top % of your market different from selling homes in the 90% percentile of your market?
Well, it's interesting because our whole market is an expensive market,
It's
right?
still top 10%
Yeah.
is luxury.
But what I find is it's the clients that are the differentiator for me anyway. We have really sophisticated clients. And, it could be like I have a guy who's got a $15 million 1031, right? And so how do I find that, So what's my relationship with commercial guys, Do I refer it on because they're going to be better at it? Yeah. I would rather make the referral fee and give them to somebody who's qualified kind of thing. And then I have my very high-end listings, that are 10 million plus. And those people are super sophisticated. They don't want to be bothered. Usually for a closing, it's very rare. Like this one client, it's very rare that we go to a closing. I usually send a notary to them because it only takes a few minutes. And so it's really like being able to be flexible and understanding kind of their MO and their beat.
I find also that what I'm going to call regular clients are more open and are looking for me to consult with them and give my opinion. My luxury clients still want my opinion, but not like on financial decisions and that sort of thing. They want my opinion about the market and what's going to, help them to meet their goals, which is slightly different.
Sort of. Like, yes, I'm not their financial advisor. They go talk to their financial advisor. So like, should we run a line of credit for $20 million that we can have revolving for whatever we need it for? I didn't teach them that. They're advisors. They're wealth
they're
advisors.
not interested in that.
But their wealth advisors will tell them that. I learned that from them, right? And so then but I've taught like some very high-end clients what a MIPA is, and how do you hide who you are and what you own so that they're not publishing your name in the paper. Like a lot of people don't want that, I want to make sure that my folks are protected. And that is the one thing, like as my clientele's got more and more high-end, they are in the public eye. They tell people no sometime. We don't want those people knowing where they live.
Yeah, when I have a celebrity client, for example, I will ask them, do you want us to let the press know that you're selling your home? And I'll tell you, the plus to that is we're going to get more money for your home. The negative is you're out there in public. And I'd say more times than not, they don't want the press to know.
No.
So it's you deal with issues of NDAs and confidentiality that you don't normally have to deal with on a regular basis. And they're just looking, it's not their major investment in their life either.
Right.
So you're dealing with different parameters. How did you get into luxury?
So back to that ideal customer avatar and the how to fascinate test, I took this thing and I was like, this is what I want to be doing. I want to work in the high end kind of thing. So then a girlfriend of mine who's an agent down in Dallas were kind of masterminding, and we came up with Boulder listing of the day. She was doing Dallas listing of the day. And so if you look at my Instagram, you can see it. And we started to highlight properties that I liked. And we always, you have to do it the right way. You have to give credit to the listing agent and the listing firm and those kind of things. But I would blog about them and what I liked about the properties, that kind of thing. And then pretty soon, those were just my listings.
Right.
So it takes time. Nothing happens fast.
No.
It's a long game.
I think that was really good advice. So how do you structure things on your team?
The big thing is, because you know this, I'm totally ADHD, but I took my medication for you today.
Thank God.
I know.
Because last night it had worn off.
Oh my God, totally.
You were
I
so
could
much
feel
fun.
it.
You were so much fun.
I could feel it in my story. I was like, just shut up. Like, Sky needs to take over so fast.
Sky's her husband.
Yeah, and he's a love.
Oh my God, he's a hunk.
So hottie.
He is.
So hot. So it's because of that, structure is super important to me. So what's great is Camila and I, like, and this is, again, for agents, like, the reason why we have it set up as a 1099 is so that I can have a retirement plan the way that I need it. Because at high volume, you're bringing in a lot of compensation, and you need to be able to figure out, like, where that goes. What can you donate? How do you pay taxes? Those kind of things. So she comes in. We have an agreement that we'll meet Monday mornings, and she has an entire agenda for me. And I just let her know. I mean, it's crazy.
Okay, so
Yeah.
she's not a normal real estate assistant.
She's not a real estate assistant at all.
She's an executive
She is an
assistant.
executive
and let's
assistant.
talk about
Yeah.
how somebody informed you needed an executive assistant and not a real estate assistant. And if you don't listen to anything else in this
was a game
this
changer for
interview,
me.
this is the big thing
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you were eventually led to an executive assistant.
I think I've gone through probably like 4 years of like a revolving door of people making a mistake in hiring. My fault, not theirs, right?
You didn't know.
I didn't know. And so I can't even remember who told me to call this woman, but there's an agent in Denver who she and I do like the same production kind of thing, and she's a go-getter, and her name's Mackenzie Casey, and I gave her a call, and I was like, or we were doing a deal or something, or she had called me about something. Anyway, and she said, you need an executive assistant. And I was like, well, what does that mean? Like, don't I have that? She goes, no. Like, they don't have a real estate license. They come from corporate, so they're super structured, and drag that person around with you everywhere so they can see what you're actually doing throughout the day. Because I think a lot of people, because of text and things like that, people think you're not working. I can't tell. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I had a friend of mine do the hiring for me. We'll do the first round of hiring, and she actually brought in a friend of hers from corporate. These are all corporate executive assistants, and one was from HR. Okay, so they interviewed everybody first round for me, and then knowing what I wanted, that kind of thing, and then I met them on the second round for the first time. And then third time was, okay, we're sending you an offer. So it went from like 250 down to 8, down to 3.
Now, do you remember how much it probably costs to have these people interview potential candidates first?
Yeah, I pay about $10,000.
And how much money do you think you've saved from that $10,000 by her productivity and not having to change somebody every year?
I mean, it's the investment to bring somebody on financially is bananas. Because first there's the salary, and then there's everything around it and the time. And so, like, I would say it's in the 6 figures.
Well, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I've seen the teams that run really, really successfully, whether they're like you're a really, really good salesperson.
Thank you.
You're a really good people person until you're not.
Yeah. Until I'm like, leave me alone.
That takes a long time to get to there with you. But you're not really great at running a business per se, in terms of, I'm not talking about giving vision to a business, but I'm saying doing all the things that need to be done that your executive assistant is doing.
Oh my
you.
God. And when think of like all the details of our job. Like, I don't know if there's other industries like us where we have like 9 different roles out of the gate, right? And so I could never do Camila's job as well as she does her job.
Oh God, no.
Ever.
And you would hate it.
I would hate it. I would hate everybody. And like, She rolls in and she's like, you have this, 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 and this. She texts me every morning to tell me to take my ADHD medication.
I bet you 100% on the MBTI, she's a J. I can tell you she's not a P, she's a J.
Her. I love her so much. I love her. You know, and then what's great is for why I like this 1099 role, why I think it works for that role especially, they're not chained to a desk. So she's like, right now, she's back in the Bay Area for her visiting her mom for Mother's Day.
Which is the way it should be.
It's the way it should be. Like, I swear, this shit that I did back in the day, like, I missed my grandmother's funeral for work. Like, shit like that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
How close are you to grandmother?
So close.
Oh, that was a mistake.
So stupid. I'll never forgive myself for that.
She forgave you.
She did, because she's a rock star. But I think that was one of the gifts that COVID gave us, was like really looking at like how important time is.
And I really like the idea of having a outside source find that executive assistant for you.
It's a dream.
You know, I'm going to recommend that to one of my new coaching clients.
I have the person.
I'm going to recommend that.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're having this conversation for many reasons. So, what do you think has been the biggest contributor to your success?
Knowing my ideal customer avatar, and doing that how to fascinate test. Game changer for me.
I got to do that. Send me that. Send me the text for that.
It's phenomenal.
And we'll put it up on the screen for everybody.
And it is a game changer. And if you want to interview Sally, I will give you her phone number. She's incredible.
Okay, we'll do that then.
Everybody should take that test.
What words of advice would you just like to tell somebody that's either starting out in the business or changing markets, or, you know, is unhappy with their growth or their production? What would you just recommend to them?
I think you have to take a really hard look. Like, you ask these really great questions, right? And I think you have to take a hard look at what's there for you, how much time. Like, I overheard somebody the other day saying they were working 70 hours a week. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't. My kid gets done with work done with school at 3, and I want to be home, and I'm the income earner, like the major income earner. So I think, but I know that, and I let Camila know that, or I let my team know that, you know, and I'm still available by phone, but I have a lot of boundaries and strategy around how I work. And that includes like when, right? So I think taking a long, hard look at what is working for you, like you're saying, is really important. What's not working for you.
Delegate.
Nobody should be answering the phone past X.
Yeah.
You know, there should be no 11 o'clock answering a text. You should be asleep by then, you know, that kind of stuff. You can also, I think, yes, delegating is huge, but also having boundaries.
Yes.
We are not everybody's whores. You know what I mean? Like, we're just not. And if you start to look at one thing my coach did that I thought was brilliant and helped me really understand how much we're worth per hour is time blocking. And so if you look at my calendar, it's color-coded by productive time, time that could turn into productive time, and me time.
And who's your coach?
Garrett Fry.
And is he with a group or by himself?
So his dad was Walt Fry, who started Ninja Coaching, and then Garrett was with Ninja for a long time, and now he's off on his own, and it's called Life at 10/10ths.
Great.
With Matt Bownelli.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, so here's the one question I always end the interviews with, and this is the one question that I would say almost all of our interviewees have the toughest time answering.
Okay.
And I asked you last night, and you were like, what are you talking about? What brings you joy?
People.
People who need people.
You bring me joy. I think I have to say that, yeah, like as I'm getting older and my circle is getting smaller, it's like I love the people in my world.
That's why ENFPs are so much fun.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I've really loved our friendship. We from when I understand at the beginning at some of my conferences I didn't talk to you, but that's because I was busy.
Totally.
And you know, when we did connect, it was a real deep connection immediately.
Yeah.
And it's,
I care about you. You've been
vice
through a
versa.
lot. Yeah, and I know. I'm glad you guys are here, staying with us. That was cool.
Yeah, it was very fun. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jennifer has such a unique business. It was fun interviewing her. I hope you enjoyed it too. And if you did, please like and subscribe. Until next month.